Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Uh, CBJ lost last night really bad to the Devils. They had a goal called back and everything. It was not a good game last night. They're having goalie ego issues and all this other stuff. So anyway, uh, got a bunch of the wiring done on the limo last night. It was crawling around underneath the car. I know on that last one that was a tough view for you guys, and my head was in the way for most of it, and it was hard to see. When we get a different camera, we'll try and set that up where when you want to see stuff that is under the deck of the limo, you can actually come in there with me. The other thing I did last night was I weighed the car, and um, it's pretty amazing. I'll give you a hint. My scales only go to 6,000 pounds, and it was under the 6,000 pounds. So eventually I'll post all those pictures and stuff, but you guys can try and post guesses and see what you like. See how close you can get. Price is Right rules, closest without going over. And the other thing I did last night was I did measurements on our raise and drop. And since the airbags are all done and we have to work on that exhaust in the back to get it quieter, Cole's going to come by in the next week or so, and we're going to finish that exhaust. It will be a dual exhaust, and looking at the OEM one, it's a little weird because it comes up over the diff and then it goes under the frame and then back up behind the frame on the outside and then exits. That's the normal exit for the stock exhaust. So we're gonna do the same kind of thing, but we're gonna have a muffler in there. We're gonna have a resonator that will hopefully quiet this thing down. It's so loud right now. It's so loud. But regarding measuring, we've got 7 inches of, I don't know what you want to call it, travel, 7 inches of travel up front and 6 inches of travel in the back. So this car is as close to laying frame as possible without doing some sort of major cutting or anything like that. We're about 1.5 inches off the ground now. And it's pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy with it. The deck height is nice and low now. So if you want to, you can just get in on the deck. Oh, I still got the compressors on. Compressors, plural, both are wired up now. I'll turn those off right now. You don't really need them. I ran a much larger power cable. The 10 gauge cable that I had in there before was trying to power both compressors, and one was fusing out. So that's why we only had one compressor. The good news is we have a spare compressor now. Compressors die regularly, so we do have a spare one. We can literally hardwire in, and you guys saw the 4 bolts for the mounting plates. So this is brought to you by Rockstar. There you go. The other good news, I found a alternator bracket for the driver's side for Chevy small blocks for the long water pump. There's only one company that makes one like that. It took me forever to find it. Everything for driver's side is short water pump, and this engine has the long water pump. It's a 383 stroker. So I ordered that. It shipped today, which is kind of cool on a Saturday, and it will be here probably Tuesday or Wednesday. So what I'm going to do tonight is pull out that other alternator bracket, and I want to test fit the egg inside where we really want to put it inside the car to make sure that it does fit. Otherwise, I got to do some serious deconstruction there, and I don't really want to do that. Just noticing this, and it's bugging me. Now everybody's level. All right. So those are all of the good news things. This car does not have a regular hood latch in there. It actually has a cable here in the wheel well, and you pull on the cable and it pops the hood. like I said, they cut a ton of stuff out of this car, a ton. All right. So we're going to take this alternator off. I'll bring the laptop over here so you guys can see it. We're going to take this alternator off and this alternator bracket, and I'll see if I can return it to Amazon. I'm not quite sure if I can or not. We shall see. This is also a 12SI alternator, and I believe the plug for it is straight in the back. He's just clocked. No, he's right here. So this is the other problem with this bracket is you would need a right angle plug for the 2-wire connection back here. So this alternator bracket is not what this car needs, and I don't know what small block it would work on, but it's definitely not working on this one. So we put this on the other night. We're going to take it off now, and also they're running their power steering belt straight off of the crank. They're not coming up to the water pulley. That's why theirs is not interfering with that. So that's the other thing. This one will not interfere with the power steering. It'll be about in the same position, a little bit more forward. It'll be approximately the same height as this alternator, so it'll look a little closer to twin turbos. This one is, yeah, this one's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to work for us. So we'll check our messages quick. And let's get cracking. It is cold in the shop, 59 degrees. We got heaters going and everything, and still cold. So we'll see if we can stay kind of warm while we dissect this. First thing to come off will be, and I'll just do hand tools because I know you guys don't like the power tools with the mics. 9/16. He's smaller than 9/16. So, all right. That guy's loose. The guy back here. That's the other thing with these kits. They use literally 3 different size nuts for all of this stuff. And that makes it kind of difficult. And this is the other thing. On this side, it literally almost touches the suspension on this car. It's got the power steering return hose kind of crimped up and at a weird angle, and it's leaking. So yeah, let me bring you guys over here so you can kind of see. It's about as close as I can get. And you can see the alternator bracket right here. This big, huge, these 3 big plates and the alternator. So we'll take the alternator off first. Let's see. Get this nut. Back here, he is so close to the suspension. If you torqued any of that, you would have, that engine torques over. It's actually going to torque that way, but I don't want it to bounce back, even though we have really nice new polyurethane bushings on there. I still don't want it to bounce back. So come back here. We'll keep all of these components together and see if we can sell this thing, which I doubt we can. Whoops. Oh, come back, spacer. All right. So we have our alternator out. That was pretty easy. And I did have a baggie for all the tools. Let me grab that spacer. All right. I'll grab another sandwich bag for the. Oh, we have these guys. How big are these? Yeah. Sandwich bags are great for, and I have them in a whole bunch of different sizes. When you have projects like this, and then you can just put a piece of tape on there and label them. Call it good. Everything stays together that way. And it fits those long bolts too. So this guy, he has, this is a turnbuckle. And for those of you that don't know, what a turnbuckle is, I'll show you. This is a turnbuckle. So when these screws are loose, you can, this threads one way, this threads the opposite direction, and you can spread those points out just by turning this. So, and then you lock it into place with these two lock nuts. And that way you can get tension on your alternator belt and you just lock it in place. Turnbuckles have been around for a very, very, very long time. Let's see if we can remember what size we were. We were in 8 mil. Now, what size were we? No. So that's why I thought we were in 8. I swear I thought we were in 8 mil. Okay. What? How is it not? Oh, it is. Help if I just lined it up. Oh, I got a wrench caught in here. Oops. Use our trusty Jeff wrench this time. Get everything loose. We have spacers with these as well, so we got to be careful when we pull these out. Okay. So I have one spacer. I have a second spacer. Put these guys back in position and put them in the bag. And then this one, we have same thing. Some of the guys in the group message said they were coming over, but I haven't seen anyone come by yet. Yeah, I got to take a closer look, but I think that power steering return hose is kind of done. So this comes off as a whole assembly. There's one of the spacers, another one of the spacers. That guy first, then this guy. I can put these up here. And then we just have the one bolt back here, which is hidden by our power steering belt, or power steering pump reservoir. So we need to move that out of the way. A little bit more. That was the other thing on this. I think this bolt is drilled or is a little too long. And I think or the head is not bottom tapped. They didn't use a bottoming tap when they cut the head. Wow, that's really tight in there. Down to the last thread, yeah. Okay, so there's all of our brackets off. And all of our hardware. So we have our second alternator bracket off. Now our new second alternator bracket will be black, and that's fine. I don't really care about the color. He's going to mount basically in the same spot. He just works a little different. The other problem is with a lot of these cars, these guys are either deleting power steering or they're deleting air conditioning, or deleting air conditioning and moving their alternator there, deleting power steering and moving their alternator there. What people are not doing is running power steering and or AC and or two alternators. They're not, usually you do not see that. It is a very rare thing. And yeah, that's exactly where it's leaking from. Is from our return hose for the power steering. So I'll get a new one of those with some new clamps. That one's kind of shredded down there. Not totally thrilled with that. So but that's the only place we're leaking from. We don't have any other. I don't think it's not. Is it leaking right there? No, he's coming out of this top hose. Or the return hose. So God, and these guys got so dirty so quick. They just need to be polished up a little. Our this just melted a little too close to the header. That's okay. We'll get that trimmed off right now. These engines really do put out a ton of heat. So it's not really surprising. They melt this stuff. I mean, this was split loom. I don't know if you can see it, but he's just absolutely cooked. It's like a snake's shed. I forgot what they call that, shedding. No, molting. Molting is what they call it. All right. So, our second alternator bracket. Down here. If anybody knows of anyone who wants one for sale, let me know. I'll get new power steering hose and get that taken care of so that we don't have to have that leaking. That's the other thing. This return hose sits up higher than normal. When you try and put an alternator here, it wants to push that down or push it out of the way or whatever, and that causes it to leak down there, um, because it's like flexing the tube out and letting air in. It gets sucked down. So we'll need to refill power steering and do that. The other thing I need to get on this is the kickdown switch and get it wired. Now, the fun part is the kickdown switch is on the far side of, no, it's on the near side, this near side of the transom. Okay. That's another wiring thing. When they cut all of this harness out, they cut out so much stuff that you would actually use if you were going to drive the car. So that's what makes it really difficult is there's all this stuff that I could be using, like that kickdown switch would be great just to have the wiring for it. So I don't have the wiring for it, and that sucks. Um, Everything else is actually working very well on the car. Very, very well. Um, yeah, I forgot the name of the manufacturer for this alternator bracket, but he's going to sit very similar, kind of outboard here, a little bit higher, so we clear that power steering return hose. I wish there was a better way to route that thing, but there really isn't. Um, yeah, there's not a really good way to route that. I'm just noticing that this pulley might not be all the way on. He might need some motivation to. Yeah, he could go in a little bit more. I guess he's fairly straight, pretty straight. It looks like this belt is getting well, and this alternator has a second drive belt. So if I really wanted to, I could do a belt. Well, no, I can't do one straight across. It'll be way too high. It'll have to be a third pulley belt, a water pump pulley that'll have the other alternator belt on it. But yeah, that guy could go. He could get pressed in a little bit further. I don't think he's all the way pressed in, and that's fine. So yeah, we'll have to get a different water pump pulley. I think the crank pulley is fine, unless we have to do a different crank pulley, but I don't think we do. I think just a water pump pulley with 3 V grooves will be enough to get us our other alternator. Yeah. Yeah, that should work. That should work good. The other option would be a 3 groove crank pulley with the belt coming out here and going around the power steering pump. Which I'm not really a fan of, but that's okay. Um, I suppose I can take off this and just put a regular single on there. But and that's the other thing that was kind of odd. Like this alternator bracket is from ICT and the power steering pump bracket is from ICT. So those folks make good stuff, but this could not line up because they are routing this belt differently. They're going straight to the crank with this belt, which again, I guess I can do that. I can get a shorter power steering belt, and then the water pump pulley can run the second alternator. I could do it that way. There's that possibility. Um, yeah, there's a couple different options on how to do that. So we'll see when the mount bracket comes in, how that's going to work. So the other thing I'm not hot on is how all the power is being sent here. It is not thrilling. It's not enjoyable. It's chewing up batteries, which I don't like. I don't think anyone likes that. But the only drain on the car that I know of is the Holly system, which is what I don't think it is. I believe that has a power off. So we'll try and juice this battery again, but I don't know if he's going to be happy. I hate to buy another battery because they're like $250. I need a Bluetooth battery charger. Come on, buddy. Untangle. There you go. There you go. All right. Let's see. Oops. Let's hold off on that for just a second while we plug this in. Okay. And we're on AGM. And no, oh no, it is going. Oh, it's trying. No? Really wanted to. So if you hold it down for a little while, it'll go to force mode. That's 12-volt current. Oh. Now it should force. Nope, it fails. This is really hard to push down. The membrane is really tight. Oh, come on. Just a 12-volt supply. There we go. Now it's on force 12 AGM. It should blink back and forth as it's trying to charge it. It should force charge it. That's the theory. I know everything's backwards. Sorry, YouTube. So give that a minute to try and force some voltage into that, because right now it's a dead. It is Whitney Houston. So I don't know what's drawing on that. That's the thing. The only thing out of all this stuff that would draw would be the fans, which are obviously not on, and the Holly, which is also obviously not on. The only other thing we have on here is our alternator and our starter. So I don't know what's pulling. So we're going to give this a few minutes to run. If you guys really want to watch it, you can. I know it's absolutely thrilling watching the blinky lights. So, mm, all right. It's pretty impressive that this car starts and runs and drives. It's a lot more than what originally happened with this car. So it was done, for a music video for 20 feet. That's all they needed it for, maybe 100 feet. And they built it as such. Now that we want it to actually run and drive and do cool stuff, you have to make it a little more robust. You have to make it a little more bulletproof. You can't just chop and chop and chop and spray paint over it. You actually have to make it work really well. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'll be right back. You guys are okay? You guys are okay? Okay. I'll be right back. Oh, were there messages here? I didn't see. Nope, no messages yet. Okay. All right. Right back. 30. All right, we're back. That thing's falling out there. Check it. Hey, it looks like it's charging. Look at that. Got one of the cookies. These things are so good. All right. That's great news. Let's wheel you guys back there. There we go. A little bit better. These cookies, man. All right. Charge, buddy, charge. Nope. Not too far down the sea's going right now. Because we have the cord in the way. We didn't have that big extension cord in the way. Okay. That's the nice part about having an air ride system in the car. When you're taller and you want to work on stuff, just go bzz and raise the front end up. And then you can drop it back down. Same thing in the back. There we go. Now he's back down nice and low. So you can actually sit on him and enjoy him. The tape marks on the car, I have them on all four corners. The tape marks are for the travel when I was measuring it last night. That's what all that's about. Who was I talking to? I was talking to a friend today. He was asking me about the car. Oh, it was a photographer. A photographer in Illinois contacted me about pictures of the Viper, the race car. Excuse me. A whole bunch of other cars. And we started talking about the other cars and then talking about this. And he's absolutely thrilled. He's like, that's the craziest thing I've seen. And then we started talking about the Ariel Atom. I'm doing photos with that, which will be a lot of fun as well. The biggest problem here is there's 4 inches of snow outside. And, you know, it's 60 degrees in here. So it's hard to do, you know, we can go do cool truck stuff right now. We can do cool shit in the Jeep, but you can't really do cool car stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to take this out and go drift it in a huge parking lot, but I don't have anyone to chase me in the truck, and I don't have, you know, I don't have any headlights on here, so we can't go at night. Got to go during the day, and the exhaust is ridiculous. It just sounds like gunfire. So there's a couple of things holding back. I also, like I said, I gotta finish off the electrical and make sure all of the electrical stuff works. That's a big thing. There's nothing worse than being stranded without electrical, you know, some kind of weird electrical problem. So we've got that going. And I just noticed that this computer is on. And it should not be on. Interesting. Interesting. So that's the the fun part about doing a project like this is making sure all of your electrical that's part of the bulletproofing, making sure all of your electrical is, heavy duty enough wire, double down if you can, or if you have to on certain stuff, you have to run 2 sets just so you have a backup. You don't want it to fail in the middle of nowhere. And then uh, making sure that you have enough power and you're kind of self-sustaining. You have a alternators are technically generators, and this will be a fun fact for you guys. They're actually AC to start out with. There's 3 rectifiers in there, and that turns it to DC. Anyway, that's super tech. But alternators, to power the batteries, because you need batteries to run all the electrical. This has a lot of electrical in it. The hot tub, the pump, the aerator, and the heater are they're gonna take up a lot of electricity. We have 1 battery dedicated just to that piece of gear. 1 battery dedicated just to the engine, and then 1 for the air system, and then another for the sound and the audio and video. So there's 4 batteries in this car, and you got to make sure you have enough. You know, I don't even have a gas gauge. I don't know how much gas is in the car. I know it's pretty close to a full tank right now because I just filled it up a little while ago, and I've only done a couple of drives. So it's going to be one of those. Holly makes a really cool. I think it's a wireless. It might be a wireless fuel sender, but it might be something to look into. Is a fuel gauge, so I can have some kind of fuel idea of how much gas is in there. That would be really nice. But there's no dash, there's no speedometer, there's no odometer, there's no voltmeter, no oil pressure, nothing, none of that stuff. So I I need to make sure things are bulletproof prior to going out on the road, because I don't want the crank to fall at the bottom of the car. I don't want fuses blowing all over the place, and I don't want the hot tub to not work. That would suck if you have all your friends and you're like, oh hey, let's fire up the hot tub, yeah, great, and no, it doesn't go. And even worse if you're in not in your hometown, if you're in somewhere else, if you're in Atlanta or whatever, and you have a whole bunch of people out, and hey, it's perfect weather, let's fire up the hot tub, oh yeah, great, and no. So you just let everyone down. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm going to pop the doors on both sides, and let's do a test fit of, I just call it the egg because it looks kind of like an egg. It used to before I chopped the top off of it. So we can do a test fit underneath the car. Hopefully you guys can, I'll move the laptop around so you can kind of get an overhead view. You just be able to watch my legs wiggle around. So yeah, let me get the doors open. And this is so bad. I'm having another one of these cookies. Damn it, you guys, these are good. These are really good. Oh, wait. No, door poppers are from that one. Oh. There's no seats in here right now. All right. This makes it kind of a pain. All right, hang on. Okay. I can feel the exhaust touch the center plate on the lift. That's kind of funny. All right. There's a box of MR2 spares. Sorry, MR6. And when you're wiring up a car, you need a lot of split loom. So this has been sitting here for a little while. I'm going to put it in a nice safe place so we know where the hell it's at. Split loom. Split loom, split loom. Coil back up, buddy. There you go. Split loom and split loom. Okay. All right. And now we have our egg. He's not very heavy. This is, there were handles, but they're part of the lid. This is our egg, and this is our inlet, outlet, and heater. So we're going to give this a quick blast of air. And this is what's left over from the wiper blade. It's all gone. So what we've got, and we can pull this off, actually. This is just vinyl. This is the controller for the hot tub. And it's a little tough to tell, but those are all the buttons inside. And you push those, they're just tactile. And it changes the mode and goes to heat and all that. We have a 6-wire connector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have a whole bunch of 6-wire wire. And this will be our extension cable, so we can have this up by driver control. So let me blast some air in this. He's got some dust in him. We haven't moved him in a few weeks, so. Just one shot of air. Sorry, it's so loud. All right, that's it. Promise. All right. All right. So now we have our cord. And it's a pretty heavy duty cord. And it's kind of funny because for 110, this is pulling a lot of amps. And it has the reset like a pressure washer. 120 volts, 15 amps, 60 hertz, 1800 watts. I think this is an 1800 watt heater. Or it might be a 1500 watt heater, and then with the pump and everything else, totals out. So we have a nice long cord here, which is cool. Although we're probably not going to need most. Well, we might. And here's the other end. Oh, you guys can't see it. Wish I had the. Here's the other end where that cable connects. So we're just going to do an extension cable onto that. And then here's what's inside. And you can see your heater right there. This is your pump, or this is your aerator. And then your pump is down below underneath there. And then this is your controller. And there's some dust on the bottom, some cobwebs. So let's see where this guy fits in. The question is, can we put him behind the passenger seat? That would be optimal if we put him like this, where all of this stuff faces backwards, right? That would be ideal because all of our jets, our inlet and our outlet is on passenger side. So let's see how close we can get. Oh, wow. Yeah. This is scary, actually, because where did they go? Come back here. Okay. That's all the tubing. So this shelf used to hold something, but he can obviously be trimmed away. So I'll bring the laptop over here so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Oh, he got hooked on the water. So hang on a sec. So you can kind of see down there. Grab a light for you. I'll come over on this side. Oh. So what is that sound I'm hearing? It's odd. Hearing a very odd sound. So actually metal under here. So if I just move this carpet, then the carpet isn't there. Believe it or not, it still has the OEM seatbelts. So I know that light is blinding you guys. Let me move it to a different spot here. Something like that. Much better. A lot of stuff has to get vacuumed up here. Now back here, this can be trimmed away. He's actually at this point not doing anything. He's holding up the backside. He's mounted underneath the tub. It's a piece of wood underneath the tub, and he's holding the backside. That support just needs to get redone. It's just a piece of 3/4 inch ply. So let's see here. Doing this with no leverage whatsoever on my knees on a not flat floor. Let me see. Maybe I just do it like this, like hike the football. There's the handles. I found them. I knew I left the handles in there. Holy crap. This thing fits wonderfully in there. And he's going to be perfect. I just have to cut that. By cut, I mean rip out that support plate. There is our fill, I think. Yeah. So he's on that side. There's our aerator right here. Well, no, he's our jets. Okay, so that's the aerator, our fill and our aerator. And we have our main drain, but I think we have a secondary drain back there too. So I need to take that wood plate out. Yeah. Okay. So if I take that wood plate out, this guy will fit. Oh, he's screwed into this. Damn. Urgh. Again, I have no leverage on any of this. Whoops. Okay. Well, we got one piece out. This wood's so rotted, he might just come out in chunks. Which I think is what we're going to have to do here. Because part of it is under the tub with screws in it vertically. Wow. I really don't have any leverage here. Why won't that guy? Okay. There we go. That was part of the problem. There we go. Wow. Talk about rotted wood. This is 3/4 inch ply. And I'm just folding it by hand. That's how rotted this is. All right. Back here. Vacuum the rest of this stuff out later. Get all the big chunks right now. Okay. That's a lot of crap. So the tub is still supported. It just doesn't have all that extra on the end, which is fine. We don't really need that. It was sticking towards it's coming this way towards the passenger seat. And I don't remember what it had on it. When I got it, there was nothing on it. I'm going to have to do this left-handed while balancing. And I don't think he's, oh, yep, he's out. Oh, he just fucking broke off. Okay. So there's all the foam with him too. Question is, how far back? Another bracket. A whole bunch of stuff back here. All right. So that's better. Oops. This is some kind of metal bracket. He's gone. Yeah, the screw just literally broke right off, right at the head. There's a lot of corrosion from water spillage. Oh, that is garbage too. So there we go. Now we should have tons of room for this guy. Yeah. I don't know about tons, but definitely have a lot more. And he's hitting up against, yeah, I mean, he fits in there. Even if we don't trim that plate, he fits in there pretty well. So I think I'm okay with all that. I guess if we have all the hard plumbing there. Oh yeah, okay, so there's the pump line and then the aerator line is separate, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to work really well. We won't have to do a very big extension on the 6-pin cable too, which would be really nice. How did I hook that in there? Okay. So now I just need the fittings for the hot tub. Power will be pretty easy. Power should be pretty easy. We have an inverter that goes in the back and that hooks up directly to the battery with some 0-gauge cables. And then the inverter, this will be the only thing on that inverter. Actually, that's not true. The fill and empty pumps will also be on that inverter, but nothing's going to be running all at the same time. The hot tub will be off when the pumps are running, and the pumps will be off when the hot tub is running. So that is that. Which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's our drain. And that is our fill? No, this is our drain right here. Well, that's our this is our water in. That's our drain. Okay. And that thing comes over to this. But why are they so high up there? Okay. That's kind of odd. The aerator sections are up high on the tub, and then the line actually drops down and goes to the jets. So that's kind of an interesting way to do that. Oh, this guy didn't make it. So he's going to go back to nature. Sorry, Mr. Bug. That's how it goes. All right. Wow, 11:30. We're doing pretty good. So I'm not sure if you guys You can kind of see the egg in there. Let me see if I can move this around a little so you can get a better angle on it. I'll try and move the lift arm. There you go. You can kind of see the egg in there. Where's the swivel in this? There it is. There you go. So the egg will sit something like that, and that will control the hot tub. He's not that much extra weight on this side of the car, so it's not that big of a deal. When you put 200 gallons of water in here, it's going to be heavy as hell in the back. And because of the shape of the tub, you have a little bit more water on this side because this is where the indent is on the tub. So you'll have a little bit more weight here. So we're not really hurting anything. Not bad. And that's of course all theory. I don't know for sure. I've never had this running while the car was driving. Well, I've had water in it while the car was driving, just never had it running while the car was driving. And we have our 2 tanks back here to hold our water, most of our water. So power will come back on this side, on the passenger side, with our inverter. I wonder, did Michael pilfer the inverter as well? So I'm going to move you guys back a little bit so it's a little more normal view. So the other inverter is over here. This is the one he left. This one is 500 watts. This thing is absolutely useless. So I need a 1800 watt inverter, 2000 watt probably. And it doesn't have to be solid state, not running any computer gear off of it. It'd be nice, but not necessary. So I don't have an inverter for it. So we'll have to do a parts list and get some more stuff. I have the single aught cable ready to go, which is cool. I put this with the egg. I think we tried this out and it worked really well. This is just a 3D printed cover. We'll probably do one, just like it, and maybe white or something. Just put that with that stuff. I'm pretty content with that. I think it works pretty well. I don't know how loud that egg is. I haven't heard one running yet, so I don't really know. So that's good news. We got the egg in the car. We got that board pulled out, got the egg in the car. I guess we can do some trimming if we really want to put it any further back, but we've got a ton of room in there. So we'll have air compressors on one side and we'll have hot tub stuff on the other. The next thing to do is figure out how to get the tanks to fill and empty with one switch. Hold for full, hold for empty. Kind of like a bilge pump, it's 2 ways. You can fill and empty with one pump. I have to figure out how to do that. I'd rather not have 2 pumps. If I have 2 pumps, they'll both be it's more power and more wiring and more other stuff. But with 2 pumps, I could probably be faster. I can be faster filling and I can be faster emptying. With 1 pump, it'll be slower on both. There's a disc brake thing. There's one of the hoses. This is another alternator. This is just a core though. I don't think that one works. Is this our good airbag or our, nope, this is our dead airbag. You can see he's got a slice in him. Go in the trash. So yeah, we got stuff cleaned up here pretty good, which is nice. Water. All right. The egg's out of the way, which is really cool. Obviously, we'll be moving it a whole bunch. And I got to figure out some kind of mount for it. So for the bottom, there's all the air and cooling is done through the sides on the bottom. So on the bottom, I'll have one of the foam pads and probably just do a hook down and screw it into the floor to make sure, on 3 sides or 4 sides, hold it down. It should be pretty simple to hold it in place and unobtrusive and shouldn't go anywhere. That's really about it. The wiring and the plumbing is the hardest part. Finding hot tub plumbing is very odd, especially for the small things like that, like those Coleman inflatables. It's very hard to find, the correct plumbing. They don't sell a lot of parts for those, so yeah, it's a little difficult. So yeah, I guess that's where we're at. Tomorrow it's Sunday tomorrow, so we'll get in the shop early. I might do an early live stream tomorrow with getting the tanks set up and the water tanks, getting those in the trunk. We're going to fabricate a new, because they're offset. There was one above the other. It empties into the top tank and it fills from the bottom tank. So we're going to do a new bracket because the ones they use, they're just 2x4s. So we're going to do a new mount, hopefully clean up the trunk space a little bit. Like I said, they slapped this thing together very, very quickly. So we'll do a metal, just some bar stock, some 2-inch by 1/4-inch bar stock, and just do a nice frame for both. And then that'll bolt right into the trunk. It'll be a lot more stable. It'll be a lot nicer. I think that's about it. We're coming along pretty good. I need to find new grill material for this. I looked at some other grills. The original Cadillac grill never came down that far, so it would be very small. I'd have to get 2, maybe even 3. I'd probably have to get 2 Cadillac grills and bond them together, which I'm not really hot on doing. It look kind of funny. So I'm going to look at some other options regarding doing grills. I might do these temporarily too, depending on the cost, just to get the weight down. These are stupid heavy. The section, the center, they're unbelievably heavy, unnecessarily heavy. I understand the look they were going for, but you could have done this with PVC pipe. You didn't have to use, can you guys hear that? Those are steel pipes, like for gas line. Yeah, so we have to get rid of those. It's another at least 100 pounds on the front of the car. And by the way, did you guys guess on the weight? Put your guesses in the comments below. I'd love to see them. And we'll do something cool for whoever guesses close. Remember, Price is Right rules, so closest without going over. See if you guys can guess how it is right now. Full tank of gas, seats in it, air ride system, all electronics working, current electronics working. Guess how much the car weighs. And yeah, I'll do something cool for whoever guesses it correctly. I haven't figured it out yet, or gets close to it. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. And sorry about the views. Again, when I get more subscribers, I get more options on YouTube, and I can do more cool stuff with multiple cameras and all that other fun stuff. So I'll do that as well. So thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to show someone that you love them. Don't tell them, show them. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss right on the tip of their nose. And show them that you love them, okay? Hold their hand, give it a squeeze. It's really, 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 really important, okay? Tiny, tiny thing, really, really important. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow in the shop, and we'll do more cool stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you later.